Hey, first and foremost, I got the first lady here. First lady.
Hello, everyone.
And DC Baddest is out for the week.
Yeah, a little
Hopefully.
under the weather. A little under the weather.
Hey man, that cancer is real.
It is.
It's
It's really real.
nothing
We
to
send out
play
our
with.
prayers to her. Hang in there, DC Baddest.
And as the slogan goes, sun out, guns out. The brand new shirt the wifey bought me. Shining, baby. Looking good in this purple.
Lord.
Thank you, wifey. I love you. And before we kick this ball game off, we had to send our salutes to a brother in fitness that we lost 2 weeks ago. It was sad news. I was very distraught that we're going to be missing this brother. He was one of the greatest that ever did it. Fitness coach, one of the strongest dudes I've seen on YouTube fitness. He always had some good information to pass on to people, and he was one of the great ones. So you will be missed, sir.
Rest in peace.
Yes, 49 years old.
Wow, still young.
Gone too soon.
Always.
All right, we got our brother coming on in fitness. He's a USPA record holder. And my man's doing it in his, what'd you say, 60s, Sweet Pea?
60.
He's doing
seasoned.
He's doing it in his 60s. Today, I think he did like 460 some pounds just off the natural. So we're going to find out how you can still go in your 60s. What got him into fitness? How do you keep on continually to get stronger as you get older? So let's bring up my brother John. Hey,
how we doing?
John, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. How's the audio?
The audio's good. The visuals kind of far back there, but I'm a squint.
Okay, I can move it closer. I was just trying to get a little visual here. I made my impromptu studio. My deck. Is this better?
How you take the low, Sweet Pea?
Much better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Okay.
First question I have, I seen you were a member of some type of armed forces, but what got you into fitness? What initially got you to the world when you say, I want to be as strong as possible?
Well, I was always active. So, even when I was a child, we lived out in the country and, we rode our bicycles everywhere. We gathered everybody in the, mile radius to play softball or baseball or football, tag. We were always, running around and being very active. And then probably about fifth grade, I started getting into organized sports. So basketball, high school, I got into wrestling and track. And I was always lifting then to, help the performance there. And then I went into service and very active in the service and kept my lifting there. And then after the service, I went to college and I would spend about 2.5 to 3 hours a day lifting, about 5 days a week when I was in college. And I just did it just to keep in shape and, to look good and to feel good. And then as I got older, I kept showing improvement. And so at one time I just decided, how far could I take this? So I was at a gym. It was like in 2009. One of the trainers there, Vince Robbins, kept telling me, you need to compete, and I said, nah, I don't lift to compete. I just lift to be in shape. And so in 2010, he signed me up for a meet, came and picked me up, and we went down to Sunlight Power down in Cole, Illinois, and ended up winning my first meet. And it was fun. Met a lot of good people. And just once I met them, I just kept working out and kept at it and just wanted to see just how strong I could get. My first meet, I pressed 400 pounds. I was, I think, 48, 49 years old.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
And then I just I kept getting a little stronger every year. About every 2 years, I was pressing about 5 more pounds. And the last 2 meets I did, it was a personal record of doing 440.9 pounds in a meet. I was pretty proud of those, especially coming off of an injury in December, which I recovered from. And I think you kind of get to the point where I think people stop exercising because they tell themselves they're too old. And have I had to make changes? Sure. I got to warm up a lot more before I start lifting heavy weights. I got to eat more calories to get the same results. And it takes me a little bit longer to heal when I do tear things up, but that's not too often. But I worked out with Walter Brennan, who's 83 years old. And 235-pound bench, 315 deadlift, 365 squat, twice a week. So I encourage people of all ages to do something. You don't necessarily have to be powerlifting or heavy lifting but to get active. It makes you stronger. It strengthens your bones. It allows you to walk, allows you to do everyday things. And the longer you can do that, the healthier you are, both, physically and mentally.
Hey, brother
So
John.
I plan on doing this.
I was about to say my follow-up.
I got you.
My follow-up question is, let's go back to your service days. Which branch did you serve in?
I was in the Army.
Oh, you was in the Army.
13 Foxtrot, Port Observer. Yep. My last unit was 101st Airborne.
Okay, when did you join the Army?
And 1979.
Oh, how was it then? And
it was pretty.
And boot.
Well, boot was, my dad was in 2 wars, so I kind of had an idea what boot camp was, getting raised by him. Boot camp was actually fun. You had activities all the time. You knew what you were doing. There was never a dull moment. You were learning things constantly. Very little downtime. I gained 40 pounds in boot camp. And grew about 3 inches. I already knew how to shoot because my dad taught me how to do that. There were 6 of us, and he taught us at a very young age how to shoot and how to hunt. And I had a lot of the skills that my MOS required. I could already read maps because I was a Boy Scout. So I really excelled in that job. So, boot camp was probably not too difficult. I mean, they yelled at you when you first got there, but I knew that was coming, and I was in really excellent physical shape, because I wrestled and I ran, long distance. So, the physical part was easy, and the mental part I was able to handle fairly well. I was used to being away from home. I used to go out and camp out all the time, and in scouts, and a lot of times I just go camping for a couple of days myself because I just didn't like to be in the house. We didn't have AC, so in the summer it was pretty uncomfortable. So I used to, grab my tent and sleeping bag and the dog, and used to go out in the woods and camp out. So I guess it was a pretty natural thing for me to go into the service at the time.
So I know you are the only one I ever heard boot camp say was fun. The only person that heard that. And I'm wondering, was that easy for you because you was always in shape? Like you said, you've done so many things from when you were young all the way up. I know that, did that make it fairly easy for you? Because I've never heard anybody say boot camp was fun.
It helped. I also, before I went to boot, I went and got a crew cut. So they didn't have the pleasure of cutting my long hair because I did have long blonde hair at the time.
Okay.
But I went to my buddy's barber shop and got it all cut off before I went there. So I didn't give them the satisfaction of doing that because they do get a little satisfaction of that. When we went to the rifle range, I could shoot better than anybody else in the whole platoon. it was something I excelled at. And so, yeah, I mean, boot camp, not that I'd want to do it any longer than the 12 weeks we did, but it went through a lot faster than I thought it would.
Okay.
You did learn a lot because you're in a melting pot. I'm coming from, the country, in the Midwest, and I'm meeting people from, all parts of the country, and you get to learn a lot about different areas of the country and ways of life and stuff like that. So it definitely opened up my horizons. I was on my first train, I was on my first plane, I was on my first helicopter when I went to service.
Okay.
Now, Brother John, it sounds like to me that your hard upbringing from your father prepared you for life. Can you explain how your father prepared you for all the greatness that you achieved in your life?
Well, Dad was he was strict, but not unfair. I was the youngest of 6 children, so I had 5 examples of how not to get caught. So I got away with more than the other ones did. But he spent time with us. We wanted to do Boy Scouts, so he became one of the scout leaders. So he could spend time with us. He worked a lot of hours. I mean, he had his own business, but he worked 10 to 14 hours, 6-7 days a week. So he took time off to spend with us, which I probably appreciate it more now than I did then. But and then he taught us the fundamental skills, taught me how to fish, taught me how to hunt, taught me how to shoot. And I think I take a lot of that from him, and I raised my 3 kids similarly. They all went to service, 2 Navy and 1 Air Force, and they're growing now and they're doing very well. So that to me that was a big win, because raising kids is a real challenge. You can try to prepare for it, but you never truly are. But I did the same thing. I spent a lot of time with my kids. I got engaged in their sports. I went to their games. I took them to practice. I coached some of their sports. So I made sure I could spend as much time as possible with them, and I think that helped.
Okay. Now you talked about your children. Are any of them taking after you? Are they just as active as you are?
Yes. Not into lifting, but my oldest daughter is constantly hiking. She has been up mountains, up and down. She goes off trail too often for my thing. She's kayaked. She parachuted, jumped out of a plane.
Oh wow.
Deep sea diving. I mean, she's got a motorcycle. She's got a quad runner. She is extremely active in the outdoors. My son, he's big and strong like me. He doesn't do the lifting in that, but he's probably more with his hands. He can make really good crafts. He made a suit of chainmail when he was younger. And the youngest, she's probably talented in the arts. She did all the plays in grade school and high school. She got a pretty good voice, and but she's probably spent the most time shooting with me.
Mm-hmm.
So when she comes home, we'll go. I got 15 acres. I can shoot anytime I want. We'll go out there and take the pistol and rifle out there and shoot for a couple hours. Out of my 3 kids, she's probably one of the ones that spent the most time, and then it would be the daughter, and then it would be the son. But moved them out here, out in the country, so I could kind of keep an eye on what was going on. I would lift with the football team, so they knew, not to mess with my daughters.
Right.
But they went to good schools, and they made good friends. They had really good judgment of character.
Right.
So my oldest daughter Shayna just got married, in Arizona. We were out there, and weather was perfect, and it's kind of that next stage of life, where your kids are now starting to get married, and I'm waiting for the grandkids to come. No hurry, but within a couple of years, I would like to see that happen.
Right.
Now, Brother John, my next follow-up is,
kind of.
I'm about to say my next follow-up question is, how did it feel
I lost you.
when your first USPA certified meet? How was the greatness on that day?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I lived in different federations, but the USPA does a pretty good meet. I like going up there because I can tell that the athletes that don't know me in the crowd are not expecting what I'm pushing. And I do kind of take a pride in that. And then when I was in the one in Dubuque, which actually was a UPA one, I mean, I had 40, 50 people cheering me on. That's a good feeling. Everybody is in the weightlifting and the powerlifting. Everybody is really supportive of each other. We want to make sure everybody doesn't get hurt. We want to make sure everybody succeeds. But to go in there, for the last 15 years, my doctor has told me I got to stop lifting heavy. And I keep telling her, well, I'm not going to. I feel in better shape now than I did in my late 30s, because I did take a 6-year break. And, just one day I looked in the mirror and I didn't like the person looking back at me, and I took charge of it. So, I went back to the lifting, and it's healthy. I don't have stomach issues when I lift. If I fall down, something don't break. There's so many benefits to it. And there's a certain pride being able to push the weight I do, but I worked 45 years to get there.
So when you do these meets, I know everyone wants to win. So
yeah,
what's your ranking? I mean, is there a ranking when it comes to these meets? What type of awards have you won?
I missed some of it, but what I think you were asking is there some sort of ranking or divisions in that?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, and your awards. What type of awards have you received?
Yeah. So probably I usually win first place in my age and weight.
Okay.
And then on 2 occasions, which is difficult for me because of my size and age, I have won best lifter, where I lifted more weight incomparable to my body weight than anybody else in my whole master classification. So that's extremely difficult to do. A young man who weighs 150 and he can push 315 is going to be over 2 times his body weight. I weigh 242 when I'm competing, so it's almost like a 480 pound lift for me to be equivalent to it. So when I can squeak that out, those are probably the ones I like the best. So I have 3 world records in the Masters, and in 2 different weight classes. So I have it in the 242 pound class, and I have it in the 275 pound class. And then I got about 3 national records, and I'm going after the USPA national record. It's like 451 pounds right now, and in November my goal is to beat it.
Oh wow!
So
I can add that to it.
Ooh, okay.
Woo! All right, Brother John. My next follow-up question is: I'm competing in my first meet. I'm competing at 242. I'm trying to get down there, Lord willing. This is gonna be the first time I ever done this on this type of stage. What should I do, or how should I mentally prepare myself for this level of greatness?
Okay, so first of all, have fun. All right, because you're there to have fun and understand everybody there is going to be in supportive of you. Second of all is remember you're not in the gym. So one of the worst things you can do at a meet is fail on your opener. You know, a lot of, I had a friend of mine, you know, he was posting videos, you know, he was benching 425 and, you know, his wife had his hands on the bar the whole time. He was bouncing it off his chest. And I caught him at a meet and he was going to open up at like 403 pounds. And I asked him, why are you opening up so heavy? He goes, well, I can do this much in the gym. And I said, you can't. All right, this is a pause. You know, that takes 10% of your lift right off the bat. And luckily he listened to me. So I got him to open up like 367 and then go 383. And then he actually failed at 397. But a lot of times someone thinks that they can do this in the gym, so they open up with it and they fail or they show bad form. And now the judges are going to zero in on it. So your opener is to get you in the game. So make sure that you're opening 10, 20 pounds lighter than you usually would lift. Because you want to show the judges that you have perfect form. You also are going to have butterflies. You're also going to be nervous. Don't matter how many times you do this. You want to get that first lift done. And then on how that lift goes, you make a decision what your second lift is going to be. And how that second lift goes, you make a decision what your third lift is going to be. It's not saying that you haven't already thought about here's the weights I want to hit, because you do. But, you know, so, you know, what is your goal on your competition? You know, what's your weight you're wanting to hit on your third lift?
Well, currently I'm at 355.
Okay.
My main problem, I do it with the pause and everything I'm supposed to do it with. Being honest, my main problem is it's kind of hard to find someone willing to spot me with all that weight, because the people I work out with, they're uncomfortable for my own safety, which I appreciate. But I notice that you ride off of the comfortable, being comfortable enough, be like, I got you if something crazy happened. Because I notice I feed off of someone else's energy when they're spotting me. So hopefully between now and October, I'm at 375. And after that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to crash out. And that's if I can find someone willing.
So if your goal,
I'm listening.
Someone willing to spot you. So here's what I tell the spotters. I said, you're not lifting 355. I said, if I need help, I need 5 pounds. That's all I need. You know, if something bad happens, it can come down to my chest and you can just strip the weights. But, you know, my 9-year-old daughter would spot me, because if I needed problems, that's all I needed was 5 pounds. I also wouldn't throw weight on that I didn't feel that I could do. So I know a lot of spotters will get nervous, and it kind of depends on what gym you're in also. You know, I know I was in a place, it was called Anytime Fitness, and they were really nervous about spotting me. To the point I had to go find another gym. I mean, I need to have a spotter. You know, anytime I start getting 80% of what I can bench, I want somebody there just in case something happens. If your goal in October is 375, you know, then you probably don't want to open up any heavier than 350, and probably even 345. Yeah, first lift is just to get you in the game. Once you hit that first lift, you know, then probably 365 if it went well would be your next lift, and then third lift you'd go for your 375. You'll find yourself, if you are doing the pauses in the gym, and I found by doing pauses and not doing, you know, bounces or touch and goes anymore, I'm actually sometimes doing more weight in the meet than I'm doing in the gym. So yeah, doing the pause is definitely the right way of doing that. I've had people spot me from, you know, 16 years old to 56 years old. You know, what I'll do is I'll bring them in on a spot that I don't really need them for, but that I can at least teach them how to do it correctly. Because, you know, I tell them, I don't want you to take the weight out of my hands. I don't want to play catch with 405. When I'm pushing it, I want your hands underneath the bar touching it. If you're touching it, it's not a lift. So I'll usually about 365. If I have a new spotter, I'll bring him or her in and have them spot me. And then so when I go to 405 and go heavier, they know how to spot.
Okay.
Because if you're doing weights that you should be doing, all the spotter there is to do is to give you a little touch to press that last 3 or 4 inches.
Right.
Like I said, if something bad happens, they grab the bar and they rack it.
Okay.
But 375 would be a good lift. But the whole thing is, you're just first meet, you're putting 3 numbers up there, and then those are the numbers you're going after on your second meet.
Okay. Now I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been in the Army, you attend meets, you're preparing for the next level. Tell me something that people that know you or don't know you would be surprised about you, that they, tell me something that they would not know about you, like a hobby or something you like to do.
I don't know. I'm pretty transparent. I like to hunt and fish. I like to shoot. I like to lift. I like to do yard work.
Okay.
I like to garden. That's something they may not know. If they're on my Facebook, they will, because I posted.
Okay.
But I do like to garden, and I can foods. So that if they weren't following me, they probably wouldn't know that about me.
Right.
I do have a pretty good green thumb. I'm usually good around pets. Dogs and cats like me because they know I like them. But otherwise, I keep things simple.
Right.
I kind of appreciate what I have. Because I got a good life. Got 3 healthy kids that are grown. I got a wife. We've been together, married for 29 years, been together for 33 years. I got a roof over my head. I'm healthy.
Right.
So I really don't have anything to complain about.
Now, does she also work out with you sometimes?
No, she does not.
Okay.
She's opposites attract. She's opposite of me. She's the organizer. She's the one that takes care of all those things that I would probably overlook.
Right.
Kind of teaches me the finer things when I'm out in public. So I don't come off as a barbarian. But we make a good team.
Right.
But when I met her, she wasn't into it, and it wasn't important to me. And we have fun together. We do like to go out and enjoy life. We like to go out dancing. We like to go out for dinner. We like to go hit Star Rock and trails and stuff like that. We'll go hiking. We'll go to places where they have live bands. I like to listen to live music and get out there and dance every now and then. Not that I'm good at it. I still like doing it. So that might be another thing people wouldn't know. I do like to go out there and hit the dance floor.
Okay. That's a good
as long as it's simple.
All right, brother John. My next question is, how did you survive 29 years of marriage for us young guys in the game like myself, who only been in it for only 5 years? How do you make it to 29 years? Give me your advice, because that's a long time.
Okay. Alcohol helps. No, I'm kidding. You have to remember what each other's goals are. I'm not telling you 29 years was always happily and blissful. There was a couple wars, a few battles, but I guess we always understood that our goal together was to raise the children. That was our goal. And when we did have our arguments, I'd always try to make sure that it was resolved before we went to bed. My grandmother said, never go to bed angry, because it just it boils, and it becomes, you'll wake up the next morning and forget what the heck you were arguing about. And then you kind of run it through the flow chart. Is this worth arguing about? What sort of long-term effects will this have? And you think outside yourself. It's not about you. It's about us. When you get into a marriage, two people become one, and you gotta remember that. Sometimes you have to be the one that sits there and gives in, and sometimes the other one has to. I mean, there's times where I locked heels, and the flow chart says I'm going to war, but even in anger, never say anything that you would regret. So you attack the issue, but you don't attack the person. I think that's probably the one thing that's kept us together, is don't make it personal. Talk about what the issue is, and it's not your fault. It's not her fault. Is right now we're having a problem seeing things the right way, and how can we correct that? And over time, I think that keeps you together. Make your spouse your priority.
All right, Brother John, my next follow-up question is, how does it feel to be on your level of literally, I see you popping up on YouTube videos, I see you popping up on Facebook videos, I'm just like, who is this guy? How the hell does he do it at his age? And how the hell do you stay so strong? We have so many people who are literally faking the funk. Unfortunately, we had a passing in the fitness family. So how do you keep it consistent without abusing your body? Because that's my main question, because a lot of people abuse their body and they check out, unfortunately, too early in the game.
Yeah. So a good question. And consistency is really the key to it. I work out different than most people. I mean, I had a football coach ask me, how often do I lift heavy? And I just started chuckling. He goes, what? I said, well, I know what the answer should be. About once every 3 workouts. He goes, well, how often do you lift heavy? I said, every time I walk in the gym. My personality can't help it. So I'm gonna push it. I mean, you'll see me having somebody stand on the stack, and I'm gonna push it down. I do a lot with nutrition. I eat about 6 times a day. When I'm, training heavy, I'm trying to ingest about 1 gram of protein per body weight throughout the day. Constantly, paying attention to how I feel. If I feel tight in one area, then I know I got to probably take it a little lighter that day. Not that I always listen to myself. And I've been lucky. I always heal. Every time I've taken an injury, I've had a doctor say, oh, we're going to have to operate. And I'm going, we're not. You're going to have to stop. And I said, I'm not. You're going to have to take a break. And I said, I'm not. And usually I've been blessed over time. I always heal from an injury. I've blown my shoulders out 3 different times, and they're 100% now. But I do it with nutrition. I take multivitamin every day. I take C. Taking high parts of C is a really good way to heal your body. Vitamin C and vitamin D are essential for you to be able to repair tissue. I am a biochemist by college, so I do have a lot of in-depth in this, and I think that doing that consistently also helps with it. But there's sometimes when I'm lifting and I'll see some of those videos of somebody getting really hurt real bad, and it's in the back of my mind. But I guess you gotta know where your tolerance is. It's not like I'm throwing 500 on the bench just to see what it feels like, because I'm not ready for it. some of the guys going, you're only jumping up 5 pounds every workout. I said, that's right, because I don't want to be in a hurry. The whole idea is it tells me how that lift went, and if it felt good, and if I had a good burnout set, I know I can go 5 pounds next week. And the whole idea is to just before your meet, I want to be at the top of my game, because there is going to be times when you're not as strong as you were a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and there are times you need to take a week off. But I keep at it. I don't give up. I've had conversations with myself after every injury. Is this where it stops? Is this where all of a sudden, I become that guy that says, well, I used to do this, and I just don't want to be that guy. I want to be the one where I hit a new PR when I'm 61. I hit a new PR when I'm 62. Until I can. I mean, I'm sure age will catch up to me eventually, but until it does, I'm going to keep pushing myself. But nutrition, vitamins and minerals probably has a lot to do with it. Just your basic building blocks so you can repair tissue.
Brother John, my next follow-up question. I noticed like last week I was extremely, like my game was off. I felt like a complete crap. And then I realized, to me, it's all about the mental mind state that you have to push yourself into, that I'm going to do this no matter what. And I'm going to put this 340, 365, whatever it may be. I'm going to push it up. I'm going to put it on my chest, and somehow I'm going to get this shit up off of me myself. Can you explain to people at home how much does it take mentally to do this stuff? And we do, because people don't understand why we do this stuff.
It's half the game.
Look at you and say they want the greatness. They doing everything. They taking, one of my co-workers just took, what's that shot you got to take care of? B12.
B12.
The B12 shot, right. Trying to lose weight and all this other crap. And I'm like, you want to take the easy way out, but you don't understand the work that goes into this and the mindset you got to have to say, I'm going to torture myself for an hour of pain and lift some heavy amounts of weight I don't want to lift, but I'm going to do it just for greatness. Can you explain to people at home the pride, the integrity, and how much effort it takes to do that?
It takes a lot of effort, and mental is a huge part of it. I trained this young man, and he couldn't get past 2 1/4, even though he was doing 185 about 7 or 8 times. So I knew he could do it. He just seen those 2 plates on each side, and he told himself he couldn't do it. So I had him work out with me, and I threw a 45 on, a 25, a few, a 10, a few 5s, a bunch of 2 1/2s, and I told him it was 215 pounds, and he pressed it twice. He goes, I think I'm ready for 225. I said, you just did 230. It was mental. In his head, he couldn't do 2 1/4 because of those 2 plates. And if you say you can't do something, you're right 100% of the time. So the mental game, getting up, having breakfast, taking your vitamins, stretching out, getting in the gym, even if you don't feel good, still pressing through it. There's times I walked in the bathroom and, about threw up and went back out and continued to lift. Some of my best workouts is when I felt the worst, but getting in there and doing it regardless. And then making sure that, you have a protein shake as soon as you get done working out. Make sure that you eat an hour after you work out. Make sure you have dinner. Make sure you have some protein before you go to bed. Make sure you're getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Sit there. I'm at night. I'm planning what I'm doing on my next workout. I go through the whole routine in my head, and once you see it in your head, you can make it reality, because you can either talk yourself out of something or you can talk yourself into something. And the mental game is half of this, and then putting in the work. You're not going to do it 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week, and have that body that guy's shown in 90 days. It's not going to happen. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is the Boston Marathon. You're going to do this for 26 years, to get to where you need to be. And it's getting up every morning, and it's getting in the gym. It's understanding what you need to do. It's talking yourself through your, when you have injuries, or you don't do well, and it's sitting there and talking yourself up. And some of it's hanging around with the right people too. You know, I go to certain gyms because the support there is extremely good. Even on your worst day, they're going to make you feel good about what you did, and that's important too.
Yeah, brother John. One thing I noticed in the fitness space, and I'm in your bench press group with you. I'm in Kevin group. I'm in Coach Dirk group. And one thing I noticed is in this crazy psychopathic world we're in, we're a family. And sometimes we encourage each other, and sometimes you can get cooked. There's been many people I've seen get cooked. Everybody who love to use the Smith machine on bench press day, they get cooked. They get cooked like nobody else get cooked in this lifetime.
Now, I know, and I don't comment on that. You know, the way I look at it, if they're proud of it, I'm proud of it.
That's an easy way to go. Now, one thing I would like to credit is all my people in the fitness space is the family aspect of it. Like, I don't know you personally. I've seen your videos on YouTube. I've seen you on Facebook. And I always wonder, how did this guy get to this point? I reached out to you and we became brothers in the world of fitness. How does it feel to aspire a person like myself to greatness?
It feels good. I mean, it's almost akin to doing the Lord's work, to be honest with you. Because me inspiring people to get in better shape keeps them alive longer, keeps them happier with their life. There's so many benefits to this. So I feel blessed that I can share this with people, and I can, you know, help people and inspire them and make them, you know, feel better about themselves or about their lives and stuff like that. You know, to me, it's a win-win situation.
Now, John, I know you mentioned that you had taken some time off, about 6 years, I believe.
Yeah.
What made you take time off? And, you know, during that time, how did your body transform? I mean, I know you say you didn't like what you saw, but how did you feel? Because it's like you went from eating right and working out to just what? I mean, how did you feel? How did your body transform during that time when you just stopped for those 6 years?
Sure. So what happened is I'd injured my back moving potting soil for the wife.
Okay.
Took me to the ground, and I was out for about 6 weeks. And then I started lifting again, and I tweaked it again. I was out for another 2, and you know, third child happened, and we were both busy working, and I convinced myself that it was the right thing to do. So I only blame myself. And my body went from, so when I was in my 30s, I probably looked more like a bodybuilder. I had a metabolism that just went and shut down. So I was probably 6-7% body fat naturally. Didn't matter what I ate. The more I ate, the faster my metabolism went. Raising the kids, you know, doing all the parent stuff and that. And then I looked at a picture when we were in SeaWorld, and I said, I look like the typical 40-year-old male. I mean, the shoulders were gone, chest was gone, I had a belly, you know, arms were skinny. I mean, I looked like that cartoon dad, you know, and some of those, you know, funny shows, you know, and I said, that's not me. So, you know, I really had, I mean, I was still healthy. I was still eating okay, but my physical strength and my physique went to garbage.
Okay.
So, you know, I came out of the shower and I took a good look in the mirror, and I did not like what I seen. And the wife was telling me I looked fine the whole time. You look fine. You look fine, you know. But that day I went out and got all my weights. I had them out in the field. I was using them to weigh down my disc carl to put, you know, the garden in. And I started lifting. And the wife says, are we doing this again? I said, yes, we are. Because I used to work out 3 hours a day. I'd come home from work. I'd work out for 3 hours. I'd cook everything in sight, you know, but I stayed home. And so that was November, I think, of 99, or no, November of 2000. And by May, I was back to where I was at.
Oh, wow.
All right. But I mean, I was working down in the basement. I was working out from 9 o'clock at night till midnight.
Mm.
You know, I wouldn't get to sleep until 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, I was up at 6 in the morning going to work, but I was on a mission.
Right.
And once again, it was more of the kind of physique workout, you know, a lot of reps, lower weights. And, you know, by then I was happy with myself. And then, you know, back in college, I could bench 285, and I always thought 315 looked really cool. So 3 plates the way it's to be. So I worked at that, and by that next November, I hit 315 for the first time.
Okay.
And I was 4 years old.
Mm.
And then, you know, my mom told me about, you know, they had this Cardinal Fitness, you know, they had locations all around Chicago, you know, only $20 a month. So I joined it. And then, you know, there was always one next to a store I was running. So I would go either after work or I'd go during lunch.
Right.
And then I had one really powerful guy. He was like a 600-pound bencher. And he made a comment about Brian Urlacher of the Bears, you know, saying that, you know, he was kind of a wuss because he couldn't bench 405. You know, I'm looking at him like, so you're saying I'm a wuss? He goes, no. He started backpedaling that, you know, but then he asked me, why can't you do it? I said, well, I'm 6'4", you know, I got over a 6-foot wingspan. And then I stopped. I said, damn, there I go again, talking myself out of something.
Mm.
So at that time, I gave myself 2 years to hit 405, and I trained for it.
Right.
And it took me about 20 months to hit it the first time. And then after that, I just always wanted to stay above 405. So I was 45 years old the first time I hit 405.
Wow.
And you know, and I was happy. I was 405 is great. As long as I can keep doing this, you know, until I'm 50. Well, then I got into competitions, and then 425 came, and then, you know, recently 440. So yeah, I figure I'm just going to keep going.
Oh, wow.
And there's no reason not to.
Exactly. It goes.
I saw the 440 today, and I was truly amazed. And I showed it to my gym buddy, DJ Smoke. Shout out to you, sir. And all I can say is, I don't know when I'm going to stop. I have no plans on stopping it, because I remember when I was sitting at home depressed and unemployed, and I had high blood pressure, borderline diabetes, and a bunch of other problems that I have no plans on going back to. So at this point, the roller coaster is only going up. And like I tell everybody in the world, you can only get freaking bigger. That's my plans.
Right.
I'm planning on getting as strong as I can, and there's no stop until I'm put in that casket.
Yep.
Now,
I mean, one of the sayings I like is, you know, do you get old? You know, do you stop lifting because you get old, or do you get old because you stop lifting?
that's the point. Now, my final question, because we got about 5 minutes before we wrap this thing up. What do you have to say to the my producer got a question. We got a question from the producer. For the first time, I had a producer chiming in. This is the final question for the day.
I can't hear him. What's his question?
Come on over, Trump. Come on over. Come on over, bro. Come on.
Okay, so what if
Don't
you're
be
not
shy.
comfortable? The question is, what if you're not comfortable going to a gym?
Okay, good
things
question.
At home you can do to get your body in shape if you don't feel comfortable going to a gym?
You can, because for the first couple of years, I worked out in my basement. I have a full gym down there.
Okay.
The only disadvantage about that, well, there's 2 disadvantages. All right, the refrigerator is too close to me.
Yeah.
It's full of food and beer. And, you know, I would have to utilize my kids to spot me.
Oh.
But I worked out in my garage for 6 years, and I got totally ripped. But, you know, I wasn't going for strongman. I was going for basically, you know, looking big. And, you know, and it takes a lot hard to motivate yourself, because yes, you can get a gym, and if you do squats, deadlifts, and bench, and curls and triceps, and some shoulder work and that every week, you'll get in shape. But if you really want to take it to the next level, you need the community. The community is going to help you get to the next level. It's really difficult to do it on your own. You know, so you can get in shape. You can, get yourself a decent weight set, get yourself a good bench, and you can get in shape and maybe reach out to, somebody for a workout to do. So if you stick to it, yeah, you'll get in good shape. If you're worried about going to the gym, if you're worried about, our world and the way we live in it today, and, there's nothing wrong with setting it up in your garage, setting it up in your basement. A lot of people do that. And as long as you put the time in and make it a priority, yes, you can get really good results.
So when you say put the time in, how many days would you recommend?
What would his goal be?
To work out? How many days in
if
hours?
If you're trying to just get in shape, a minimum of 3 days.
Okay.
And a minimum of about 60 to 90 minutes.
Okay.
All right,
just to get yourself in shape.
Gotcha.
It's almost time to wrap this up. Brother John, first and foremost, from me personally, OG to OG, thank you. Because one thing I love about the fitness space is you can find a community if you're willing to reach out.
Yep.
But you have to show the willingness to learn, and you got to show you got a little bit of something with you. Because, you know what I mean? They're not going to welcome you into the brotherhood if you're not willing to show a little something. So you got to put yourself out there to be criticized, but you also have to be willing to learn from other people. But Brother John, if people want to follow you along your journey of breaking all these records, because I followed the journey, brother, and I'm impressed. I'm right behind you. I'm on your heels. So where can they find you at?
So I'm on Facebook. I got 2 Facebook ones. One's under Scottish Fitness, and the other one's under my name. So I'm also under YouTube. If you do Scottish Fitness, or if you just type in my name, you'll find me on YouTube. I really could use more followers on YouTube. I had a few people sign up on yours. I was in the gym today sharing that with everybody. So hopefully I picked you up some new subscribers. But those are the best ways to do it. I'm going to post on Facebook, I post on Instagram, and I post on YouTube.
Hopefully it does. I noticed somebody did subscribe today. We're at 135. Yay!
Yeah, that was me.
In the world, we only got 4,000 and probably thousands of more people to go before.
Yeah, he'll watch it later. He's out with his kid at football practice right now, but he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." So and I shared it and I tagged a lot of people.
Oh yeah, that's on Rip Radio. I'm pretty sure I seen it like a lot of people shared it. So I'm pretty sure this will be our most successful live that we had in a while. But I will send you a link for the YouTube. But to our producer, Brother Trump, if you're willing and you're crazy enough, because I lost a few people now. So if you're crazy enough, you are more than welcome to meet me at Goals on Exit 13. I'm not going to promise it's going to be easy. I'm not going to promise the journey going to be fun. All I'm going to promise you is you will get some results if you're crazy enough to do it. I lost my brother-in-law. I lost one of my nephews. I lost one of my homeboys I know on Facebook. I lost 3 people. Only person I'm down to is DJ Smoke and Miss Lucy.
Yeah, come say hi to everybody. I want to introduce you real quick.
So
yeah, no, I tell you, I say, when I work out, try to keep up.
Right,
I see some people 20 minutes they're looking for the door, and I said I'm not even warmed up yet.
Oh wow!
Real quick, I want to introduce my lovely wife here, Shelly.
Hey.
She just got back from school.
Hey, thank you, Brother John, for chiming in.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. I will be sending you a link to this video so you can share it with all your family and friends. And thank you for being a member of the Brotherhood. I will let you know how I do on my first meet in October the 8th in Ocean City. Let's do this, baby. I'm excited. Let's go. Thank you, Brother John. Salute.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you. Blessings.
Yeah, blessings to you. Lovely talking to y'all.
Thank you.